Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to A House of Many Doors. So we had a combat go pretty south on us at the end of the last episode. The game suggested we try blowing out the enemy's heartlight, and I disregarded that because I judged at the time that it looked like they were likely to kill us before we could kill the heartlight, based on the amount of damage they were dealing and the amount of damage we were dealing. It's possible that we could have gotten lucky and just had no more misses on our part and a bunch of misses on their part, but I'm wondering if we're just supposed to be better outfitted by this point in this quest. Like if maybe we should be wandering off and trying to pick up, say, a 35mm mortar, try to put together 800 gold so that we could do a thing like that. So we're not running around with just 2 guns. If we should maybe try to get some better armor. So we're going to go out and we're going to give that one more attempt. And if it is the case that, like last time, we just get completely blown out, we're nowhere near being able to do it, then we'll do exactly that. We'll wander, we'll engage in the economic systems here, and we'll try to get ourselves a little bit better outfitted. It does feel like it's a little bit more difficult to actually make money in this game than it was in Sunless Skies. Not in the sense that that income is bad, but it's just like we have a lot more out to go this time. Alright, north, right? I don't remember. West is probably better. They're both fine. I'm going to do north, and then we're just going to drive west. And we are looking for a gigantopede. Which is one of the worst kinds of pede, really. I'm wondering if adding extra cars to our train increases our hull. Or just like, it probably wouldn't matter. I should probably have tried to go interact with those guys. Also, red light. I almost didn't even notice. There's an encounter over here. An abandoned cottage. Let's enter. Hey, it's some guy. We invite him aboard as a gunner. Can never have enough gunners. Actually, I'm wondering, is there a reason to stop hiring people at some point? Like, can I have too many people? It doesn't look like... I appreciate that they all have, like, names and actual... their... characters and stuff. But I'm wondering if we have... do we have a maximum crew capacity? Maybe it's related to our cargo capacity or the number of trains we have? A cairn. You know what? Tear it down. We got some bones and a curio and also an injury. Discover a skeleton clutching a rusted sword, its ribs encased in a breastplate. A great find, though your crew murmur darkly of a curse. In that night, oh yeah, we've seen this text before. I've battled this warrior in my dreams before. It's like this guy's not interested in us, so I'm interested in him. Oh, it's just some well-to-do travelers, whatever. I'm assuming that the goofy teleportation thing is their fix to them having an issue with you just immediately colliding with a thing in the world again after leaving the event. Does seem like a bit of a... It fixes the problem, but it does seem like a bit of a clumsy solution. Okay. So one space further west, that guy's absolutely doing that vertical jitter that tells us he is interested in us, which we are not down with right now. Alright, if we encounter a gigantopede, we must kill it. Well, sorry, we must kill all the people on it, anyway. Also, I suppose we should encounter buildings. This one's a little bit inconveniently placed, though. What were they thinking, not prioritizing my convenience? Yeah, search for a book. Mary, you got anything? No? At this point, I am imagining we don't even bring people into the library except for Mary Glover. If she can't find it, it's not worth finding. A ruined fountain. Yeah, donate 10 guineas. Hooray, sanity. It's actually a really good exchange rate. I don't know how much money you get for taking the get coins option, but it would have to be an awful lot for it to be a better move. Or I guess you'd have to be at full sanity. Alright, time to just loop back around. It is a little silly how many spaces we had to traverse last time looking for this gigantopede. And it looks like how many spaces we may have to traverse once again. Oh, almost crashed. Still crashed. Just a little bit. Dilapidated church. Oh no, it's Mary Glover. The knife thing happened. That's fine. We got the knife from her. She does seem to be the most narratively significant of our below-deck crew for some reason. She's the only one that anything ever happens to. A dilapidated church. We found ourselves this obsidian statue. You know what? Take it back to the Canetopede. Why not? The bats, etc. We have this bizarre effigy. Okay. Am I all the way on the other side? I am. Well, I guess let's turn back and loop back around and just wait for the Gigantopede to present itself. I do really like the music. I mean, I have expressed a little bit in the last episode that so far this does not feel... I hesitate to use, like, such broad, non-descriptive terms as this, but this does not feel quite as good as Sunless Skies to me in a bunch of different ways. But there are a lot of elements of the presentation here that I really love. Alright. I demand you give up your cargo. And then, the combat, it occur. Alright, we're gonna try blowing out their Heartlight. If we don't get a first-round miss, I'll feel a lot better about it. So let's try to kill their Lightbearer as well if we can, and I think it makes sense to close, because the most important thing here is increasing our accuracy, right? So let's do that. Let's advance twice with our other two actions. Boy, we did not do very much damage to that Heartlight. Yeah, and see, they've done 54 hull damage to us already, and killed one of our guns. This is not remotely possible. Alright, we're just gonna have to, go out and do something else. Let's send Tybalt over. Of our gunner. Oh no, we have a gunner who's at actual full. Alright. Yeah, we lose. That's a shame. We did score a good hit on the Heartlight in the last round. Tybalt... It's hard to select him. I would love to select him and have him... Okay, no, I have him. A gunner? I don't want to run him into this room, because obviously I don't want to just shoot him immediately. Yeah, I guess actually just run in here and start messing up this gunner. And then do we... I may as well send over another guy. We have 2 actions left, and I don't really have anything else to do with them. So you also board. And then go here. And we'll just kill that gunner. That's how we'll deal with that weapon. Okay, we did get their Heartlight turned off. Unfortunately, they got to enter orders before that, so yeah, I assume they will kill us. Alright, well... So that encounter is not even remotely doable with our current armament. We either need... We need one more gun to make the Heartlight go down a round earlier, or maybe even multiple rounds earlier, depending on how lucky or unlucky we get with misses, or we need more hull. So, in order to build up our train and make it tougher, I think we go back to the City of Keys. We have a lot of current affairs stuff. Why not wander the streets? Yeah, we may as well do that. I guess I didn't do that before saving. Okay, we have stuff to sell. We have a number of things we could write up. What do we have in terms of... Do we have anything we can sell here? Looks like no. If I had Caloram rum, I certainly wouldn't sell it for 80 guineas. Okay, so that being the case, we just want to go back to the city. We don't have the stuff for the statue. We could veer off and... You know, we've never been to the City of Bridges. Let's go to the City of Bridges. So we'll swing through the City of Angels. We'll just go west for right now. Pick up some more current affairs. We'll go back to the City of Keys and turn it all in for an awful lot of stuff. And we'll try to... I mean, it would be really cool if we could get the money together for... this mortar. 800 is a lot, may or may not be doable. But we could at least... I'm sure we can at least get together the money for another one of the gun... Wow. That should be called a gigantopede. Well, it's not aggressive. I'm just going to go run into it. The Tyrannic. One of a kind. Tall as a mountain. The most intimidating weapon in the governor's arsenal. A dreadnought that itself inspires dread. You would think that they all do that. Hundreds of crew scurry in its veins like ants. The Tyrannic was built after the Chimeric campaign, and it's no coincidence that the cities have not needed to fight a war since. They will give us some map data. Do not attack the Tyrannic. Yeah, tell me something. They pull up alongside, listen with bated breath, etc. Kennedy Yard. Okay, and then we leave. So where was Kennedy Yard? Kennedy Yard is here. Okay. I mean, we could just go there. Yeah, let's do it. We'll head south. I don't know that there's necessarily going to be anything of value for us there, because it sounds like it's just a prison, but why not try it? And we are not interested in unnecessary combat, because unnecessary combat is very expensive. Search for a book. Okay. A swirl of pale moths goes eddying up into the blackness above. You would think the moths would tend to stay near the cities. Just saying there's a real dearth of light out here is all. Well, that is certainly very ominous. For some reason, this particular image has given me a real, Psychonauts feeling. Sweeping searchlights cut the dark in two. Barbed wire glimmers, catching light in its tangles. Visitants to the house, those people newly stolen, bring with them many dangers. Dangerous knowledge, dangerous items, dangerous personal beliefs. Such newcomers who appear within the borders of the 7 cities are bustled to Kennedy Station for tea and polite questioning and, if necessary, brutal re-education. I mean, do I want to petition for entry? Is that actually a good idea? I guess let's try it. A little lost, friend? Asks the governor's man in the least friendly voice you've ever heard. The city of Keys is south, and beyond that the city of Masks. Keep heading north and you'll reach the city of Knives. Now I suggest you get a move on before we do something highly classified to you. If we had some reputation... Okay, well, so we could if we had a little bit of reputation with the city of Keys, we could pass a spirit test, or reputation as a journalist. But yeah, I'm not super surprised to find that there's not anything of value for us here. Thought it was worth checking, though. So, I think we still want to swing through the City of Angels. Let's go north 2, and then west from there. It's still bothering me. It's less. Again, I keep forgetting. The second I turn off this game, I completely forget about the bats. I keep forgetting to look into if there's a way to turn them off. Yep, let's enter the cottage. We got a deactivated golem. Inside the cottage, you find a huge clay golem sitting on its haunches, its eyes hollow and empty. It could have been waiting here for centuries. Well, that's fun. And we'll just skitter past the finger forest here. Perfectly normal 20-foot tall stone fingers. Nothing strange about that. Alright, and now from here west, yeah. We don't have the stuff for the statue yet, but we'll just grab our current affairs and get moving on. A collapsed library. Mary Glover, always the one who finds the tomes. She's the only one who knows what a book looks like. And she refuses to tell the rest of us because she says it's about job security, you know. I get that. Alright, this isn't interested in us, so I'm gonna bump into it on purpose. Come here, you. The Naughty Doctors. The Naughty Doctors are peculiar types. They travel the house in vast flying orbs, collecting the sleepless and taking them back to their home at Waker's Respite. I do not see any reason to attack them. I was kind of hoping we might have more options than that, honestly. Bones, Curio, injured, yep. Fighting nights in my dreams. You know, like in that Sega Saturn game. It was all about waking up covered in cuts. I think we're only a couple of screens east now. Doing okay on fuel. I'm a little worried, like, since our plan is to make a bunch of money by returning to the City of Keys, I'm a little worried about running out of money on the way there. Hopefully we'll be able to sell off some of the detritus that we have accumulated. You wander around in the darkness for long enough, your hold just sort of fills with creepy things of its own accord. Oh, I totally forgot about the fact that this is the place where we can just rest and recover. Rest and recover for free. That's actually really nice. Wander the streets. We could try to grab a book from the burning thing. You know what? Let's give it a shot this time. I didn't go for it last time, and I have no idea what the consequences of this might be, but we're in pretty good shape. If we were ever going to try it, I suppose now is the time. I will not stand idly by while books burn. Let's try to grab the most valuable book from the blaze. You have no time at all to scan the books in front of you and find the one that looks the most valuable. You make a snap decision and snatch a book, flames licking playfully and painfully at your fingertips. The crowd heaves behind you. For a moment, you don't know if anyone saw you, but you chose your moment well. You frown with disappointment. Far from being valuable, this is a hack book of lurid murder tales, of the kind extremely common throughout the 7 cities. It's printed so cheaply that the ink stains your hands as you turn the pages. And turn, and turn. Well, it's certainly addictive. Okay, I mean, we failed the challenge and suffered no consequences at all and still got something, so I feel pretty alright about that, actually. So we can attempt to decipher our indecipherable tome. My guess is that failing at this inflicts sanity damage, so if we were going to go for this, this would be the place to do it. So let's try it. You make hundreds of pages of notes and get hopelessly lost. As far as you can tell, the language of the tome is utterly unknown, and it follows no structure you can find. You eventually give up in disgust. So it does destroy the tome. Okay. You spent 4 days banging your head against a wall. Well, good to know. We do have another tome, but I think we'll not potentially burn that one, because they might be worth something. So let's see. Obviously, we're not interested in selling fuel. We don't have any of the other stuff you want. Vineyards just want angel wine. Destroying angel fungus cannon. This questionably legal weapon shoots missiles infected with mind-altering spores and will ravage the enemy's sanity. That's actually really interesting. Sadly, nowhere near affordable. So I guess we're done here then. Right, if I chose this, we wouldn't actually... It's weird that there's an option that does nothing except take you to the screen where you would actually click the button that does the thing. Like, why isn't this the button that's on that main menu? Aside from that, yeah, no, I think we're done here. Did we not even get... No, we gotta gather news, duh. That's the whole reason I came here. Okay. Ooh, and you were lucky. You gained a fragment of epiphany. It takes you a long time to find someone standing out in the open. The young woman looks at you in fright as you ask her for the truth of recent events. She hasn't heard much, but it's enough. Her eyes scan the skies furiously as she speaks. After a moment's hesitation, she even tells you something of the latest activities of the mad angel Zeriphael in his shattered tower. In a dread whisper, she speaks of his barely comprehensible ravings, which echo over roofs and into dreams. Okay, we had not heard about Zeriphael before. Okay, this was not a wasted trip. Let's head out to... Does it make sense for us to go past Clayton's Mill? I suppose there's not really much reason not to. It's not exactly on our way, but it's pretty close to on our way. We'll hit that. We'll hit the City of Engines. No, we already have... We did hit the City of Engines. So we'll go down to the City of Bridges, and then we'll come back around to Keys. So yeah, let's go West 3, South 3. Oh, that's not how you do that. There we go. To Ghoulwatch. A castle, a city, and a tomb. Apparently there is something else west of this city. Well, I'm not opposed to visiting that either. I was kind of hoping that was going to let us... Damn it. Kind of hoping that was going to let me hit the cairn. There we go. Order it torn down. Bones and historical curio, and I'm maimed. I should probably, like, watch my health a little bit. So is my crew... My crew is, over time, we are healing. And we're visiting cities and stuff. So I'm assuming the same will happen to me. I'm certainly not doing anything to heal the crew. Whatever it is we're already doing is working. Great winged shape flies low overhead. Given the way the combat system works, it's very difficult for me to believe that no matter how... that it would ever be worth doing random combat, no matter how well outfitted we get. Because repairs are so incredibly expensive and everybody's weapons hit so hard. But like, even if we had 1,000 hull, and we were not in any danger of losing a combat ever, taking a single hit from an enemy puts you in the hole for so many guineas for repairs that the thing you'd have to get from the combat would, like, it would have to be plot progress, right? That's the only way that it makes sense to fight. Okay. We forgot to wake up Mary Glover before we went into the library. It's really nobody's fault but my own. This should take us to the mill, where we are reasonably well liked. You know, we might be able to get something out of somebody, potentially. Or did I miss? I totally did. I just went west one too many times. You know, you'd think that a person of my age, who has as much mathematical schooling as I have, would be capable of counting to 3. And you would be horribly wrong. Okay, gather news. And then... we could try to ingratiate ourselves again. This worked last time, right? Yeah, let's go for it. Clinton Kanker is nowhere to be found, but Too Clever by Half is running a poker game. We do not have the ability to participate in the poker game. Maybe you don't have the money, or maybe you don't have the will to lose it. I'm assuming that the reason that these tests of guile are not available is that we played too recently, maybe? It's been quite a while, though. I don't know. Anyway, we got the news we were looking for. Alright. It's south a couple. Yeah, south a couple and east a bunch. We should see if these people want to show me anything. Anything for sale? They do have angel wine for 70. Not really worth buying, I don't think. Right, I think that's just a fair price. I think we would have gotten 70 for selling angel wine. So, search for a drink. We got an obscene booklet. No luck finding a drink, but you do find a dirty magazine rolled up and stuffed behind the bar. Your crew hoot and snicker, and that's not super useful to us. I don't know, maybe porn is really rare in the cities, so this will end up being worth a lot to somebody. But like, with the combat, in Sunless Skies, you know, you could get good enough at fighting, and practiced enough with your weapons, and practiced enough dodging the enemy weapons, that it was at least possible that a combat would not cost you any money. And then on top of that, sometimes the things dropped from combat, like even if you did take some damage, sometimes the things dropped from combat would be valuable enough to be worth the trade-off. We have seen no evidence that that is ever the case here. Again, aside from plot progress, which is the most valuable thing. Let's gather news. 1 guinea for a newspaper. Rosepike Bridge has been evacuated after another crack appeared. Grapnelliers have quelled a riot on RD Crossing. One of the Mycenae underhangs has dropped into the abyss. Well, that seems like a bad time. A crisscrossing network of bridges, each groaning under the weight of hundreds of buildings, straddling a measureless abyss. Effluence from the higher bridges falls like rain on those below. That's a bad time. Station is plastered in wanted posters. The Consortium pays handsomely for the heads of those who disrupt their trade. Most of the posters are rotting off the walls and well out of date, but you find a couple that are recent. The first poster offers a bounty of 250 guineas for a man who the newspapers dubbed the troublesome scourge of Frost Casket Lane. A lifelong troublemaker. He stands accused of hassling Consortium merchants, robbing banks, setting fire to churches in the City of Angels. The list goes on. Dude really gets around. The face of the lawless chopper leers from the poster below. Bold block letters advertise a bounty of 200 gold. 200 guineas. I'm never going to stop thinking gold when I see G. A particularly vicious bandit, renowned for his cruelty and for sending grisly trophies to the newspapers. And the newspapers love it, of course. So, this here, 250 gold. That's an amount of money that might compel you to engage in combat. I don't think that there's... I mean, I'll make a note of the coordinates here, but we're not going to try to get into a fight yet. A green-cloaked mercenary informs you that the Consortium requires your presence. He offers to escort you to Fortune Hall. You are led to a grand office in Fortune Hall. A chandelier hangs ponderous and ridiculous from the ceiling. The desk is built from only the most endangered trees. A pinch-faced old man sits behind the desk, flanked by two scribbling scribes. His eyes are hidden behind the circular dark glasses. "My name is Basilmoth," he says, not looking up. "If you come across any information relevant to the Consortium on your travels, you are to bring it directly to me. Understand?" I don't think we have anything right now. Oh, we do have incriminating evidence about the governor, don't we? And some unsanctioned scripture. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else we can do with this, but I do know that we need money very badly. And that's a lot of money. I do have more information to sell. Again, it's unsanctioned scripture. I have no idea if it's valuable for any other purpose. Alright, I think we're good here. And then, I'm not going to repair the 1 point of hull damage we've taken. Let's just wander the bridges. There's something to be said for not looking down. I would not even be able to walk around in this city. The Consortium relies on mercenaries to guard its trade routes, and competition over a contract is fierce. You're minding your own business on Rosepike Bridge when an honest-to-goodness artillery shell blows the roof from the building behind you. Choking on dust and smoke, you dive behind a nearby grocery stall, where a young woman and her son are already cowering. "Hey, what's going on?" "The Shade Corps enforcers own that building," she tells you frantically. "Some other mercenary band must want to weaken them. You stopped them from getting a contract." An enormous blimp is casting the smoke-clogged street in shadow. A motley crew of figures drop from it on long lines, men with spiked hair and leather jackets. "The sons of vermin," says the woman. "They don't care about collateral damage. We need to get out of here." So we're unlikely to be able to broker a peace, but wouldn't it be cool if we pulled it off? It's got to be valuable, right? I'm going to press this button, and maybe I'm going to be real sad that I did. You stride out between the two groups of mercenaries, hands raised. They're so confused, they actually lower their guns for a moment, and that's all you need. You appeal to their consciences. Oh, not a good start. There are children out here, and innocent citizens, ordinary people living in terror. Apparently I wasn't listening when that woman told me that these guys do not care about collateral damage. All the mercenaries begin firing again, interrupting you mid-speech. You scrabble back to cover, bleeding from a hole in your shoulder. And I am now maimed. I was maimed before, so maybe we healed a stage to just normally injured, and now I've become maimed again. You curl up and wait for the gunfire to die down. It's really the only thing you can do. And then it looks like that's all of the unique stuff we have here in the City of Bridges. I'm not going to do rest and recover. I think we're alright. So is there anything interesting to sell here? They like all of the basic trade good type stuff. A very private procurer. She works for an anonymous collector with specific and peculiar tastes. I don't know why it keeps... When we open a thing, it jumps way, way down. So, an empty memory box, factory goods, or a swarm bomb. Wow, that's a lot of money. There's also a grand abattoir. Blood and viscera spew into the cold from the bowels of this huge butchery cathedral. The Gravidonite priests will pay high prices for rare animals to slaughter. We don't have any rare animals, unfortunately. They'll take newfound species alive or dead, whatever. Alright, well with that I guess all we can really do here is leave. Sorry, I should be saving when we're about to leave a place. Just in case. And I guess we are headed back to the City of Keys, right? What is this? This is Bodok's Gaze. That'd be awfully inconvenient to get to. Well, there's no sense in going to Waker's Respite. Yeah, I guess let's just go to the City of Keys. So east a bunch, north a little. I don't know exactly how much money we'll be able to make off of all of our current affairs business. We actually ranged out quite a distance, and we've picked up a lot of news. So I'm hopeful that it's all going to add up to quite a lot. It'd be super cool if we could get to like 1,000, enough to buy a considerable amount of fuel, and then still be able to afford that mortar. So I would like a higher damage weapon. Okay, the Tyrannic has no new interaction options for us. And this is the part where we've sort of figured out the basics of the game, and now there's going to be a lot of time just driving around, doing nothing in particular, just taking information and cargo from place to place, and I have to pretend to be an interesting person during these times, which I obviously find very difficult. Oh, run away? No, wait, they're not. No, they are totally interested in us. I probably could have just kept going east. I will say, one thing that kind of bums me out a little bit is that, I feel like we've seen a lot of typos so far in this game, just like comma splices and stuff. Weird little things that should be easy to catch. I know that there was only one writer listed on the game, right? The Harry Tufts, so I wonder if it's, maybe the text only got seen by one person. To be 100% clear, I'm not trying to say that the guy who wrote this game like doesn't know his way around the English language. Anybody writing this number of words is going to make a whole lot of mistakes. That's probably true in every language, but especially in English, which is just like an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare of a language. But I wonder if there just like wasn't a lot of proofreading done, or not enough at least. Two customs men come wandering down the station, one short and fat, one tall and thin. They amble gently into your kinetopede, poking around with their truncheons and twitching their identical mustaches. So we can just try to hide everything. It's just a game you play. The customs men know it well. Or we could cough up some of our stuff. The thing is, I don't know what is not valuable. We definitely want the Necrosia. I love Color Dust, because I'm an Angle Crab Priest, so let's not give him that. We could give up the Witch's Butter. We're unlikely to pass the test of Guile. We could just bribe them, but, like, I don't think that 100... I'm pretty sure that some of the stuff we have the option of giving up here is worth less than 100 guineas. I'm gonna say the Witch's Butter. They find your Witch's Butter. The small one shakes his head. Do you know how they make this stuff? What happened to smuggling good, honest drugs? Ooh, 50 guineas on top of that, huh? They haul you to a dingy cell and spend hours quizzing you about your recent movements. We've sent some poor sods to Kennedy Yard for less than this, says the small customs man sternly. You're lucky to get off with only a fine cough-up. We are blunt tools wielded by an uncaring state, says the taller one dourly. See how our justice serves only to uphold the coercive bourgeois proletariat contract? Contract's a big word for it. After a lot of paperwork and interrogation, you are allowed to continue on your way. It's just, it's one of those contracts where one side had to sign under duress. We may as well gather news here. Turns out current affairs from the City of Keys sometimes have use elsewhere. And then it's time to write some articles. Yeah, look at all these articles. Considerable distance bonuses. All right. Let's write about Eld Abrathat. Did you know it's a big skull? And I think we're just going to keep working for the key details. I know we'd make more money the other way, but I think we're going to make enough money doing it this way, and I'm kind of curious about the reputation we're building with them. So 170 guineas is pretty great. Key details gives your article a whole page in the back of the paper. Several acquaintances make unexpected house calls. We're very good at writing poems and articles, and it's all just very impressive. And we're just going to keep doing that same thing, right? Boy, I sure hope that all this work for the key details is worth all the money we're giving up to do it. Candela is worth 100 guineas. Fargyle Keep is worth 20. Oh, we're certainly going to be able to buy that mortar. Just real quickly, scrolling down here to see if there are any other new options. Alright, let's finish writing these articles real fast. City of Knives is nearby. Spent a day writing and submitting your article. It doesn't seem like anything like... It's not actually giving us a trait that represents our key details, reputation, or anything. Be able to build a reputation with them. Usually, in this game and in Sunless Skies, if we were actually building reputation, we would have a quality that's like, you have 12 reputation with these guys. And it's totally possible that it's still doing something like that behind the scenes and just not telling us, but it would be really weird for it not to tell us. Well, I'm gonna stick with it. Oh, key details won't pay us anymore. Interesting. Well, I'm not going to work for the... I mean, it says they won't appreciate you. I'm not going to work for the Hollow Trumpet, and it's only a 20 guinea difference anyway. The editor sends you a personal letter brimming with praise. The Pioneer gives your article a double-page spread of its own and displays your name prominently. However, the magazine evidently has issues with circulation. You don't see anyone reading it in the streets, and most hawkers don't carry a copy for sale. Still, money's money. I wonder why the key details isn't available to us anymore. Maybe I maxed out my reputation with them effectively? Alright, and then we don't have any information... Oh no, we do have a glimpse of another world. Well, oh yeah, I'll sell that. I'm not afraid to sell that. Is there anything else pressing that we need to do? We should wander the streets for sure. Even a lifelong citizen of Keys can quickly get lost in the winding alleys and end up accidentally stumbling into Sticky End. You find yourself stepping carefully over puddles of blood and beer, rats skittering away in all directions beneath your feet. A shadow detaches itself from a nearby wall and becomes yours. It follows you, stepping only when you step, masking its footfalls with your own. This is Sticky End. It goes without saying that your new friend has bad intentions, but they don't seem to have noticed you noticing them. Well, we could turn and confront them, or we could attempt to flee. I think we're likely enough to fail at this one, and we're good enough at talking to people, that I'm going to just turn and confront him. Your would-be mugger turns out to be a round-faced ghoul, a length of rusty pipe clutched in one hand. When you turn to glare at her, she shoves it behind her back and whistles nonchalantly. Don't want no trouble, mate, she says, attempting a smile. Here, you want to buy some color dust? I've got some here at a very amenable rate. It's a highly illegal drug, but she's right, 40 guineas for color dust is a pretty good deal. I'll do it. You can now visit the black market in Sticky End. Oh, hey, cool. The ghoul slips you some color dust in a battered envelope. She counts out your coins carefully, then claps you on the shoulder. I was gonna bash a hole in your skull and nick all your stuff, she admits cheerfully, but now I'm thinking you're alright, mate. Tell you what, come find me here if you need anything else the governor don't want you to have. Name's Lillian, by the way. She grabs your hand and shakes it enthusiastically, her putrid flesh squishing unpleasantly in your grip. Ew. Lillian Morn, pleased to meet you. Okay, well, before you go, Lillian warns you not to venture so deep into Sticky End again. He's lucky I found you, not one of the cannibals, she says cheerily. Okay, that's cool. Can we... has that opened up a shop? No, it's an option here. Okay. Lillian Morn's face hangs in the darkness of the alley like a putrid moon. Her mad-eyed poodle chews at your shoes. Whatcha, says the ghoul. Buying? Selling? What? She wants to know, what are we buying? I'm selling... The obscene booklet, it turns out, is worth basically nothing. The color dust, she'll just buy straight up for more than we paid for it, so I'm going to do that. And the other color dust too, I guess? Right? We should probably... It's tricky, right? Because we don't know what things we might need for future quest steps. We should probably hold on to a lot of stuff. So I guess I maybe shouldn't even have sold that. Is there anything here worth buying? Witch's butter and obscene booklets. So witch's butter apparently is actually quite valuable. Well, that's a shame. Yeah, we should probably hold on to stuff. We still don't have salt, a warding iron, and an occult relic, although we do know where to buy a warding iron. And we have the money to actually make that work now. And then we should rest and recover here, probably. I guess we could just go back to the City of Angels, though. It's on the way to the Governor's Men area. Yeah, we probably should just do that. We can get our sanity back for free that way. Let's visit our dwellings. We do have a letter from the key details. White ink on black paper. The pale wax of the seal features a fanged key. Dearest SB, we have been increasingly impressed by the articles you have submitted to the key details. We don't wish to unduly flatter you in case your head outgrows your talent, but you are certainly the finest of our current crop of freelancers. An intercellular traveler of your writing ability and general panache is quite the novelty, and notes of your wide-ranging travel make a fascinating contrast to the constant diet of insular city gossip which most publications offer. You also have a sense of humor, which is our most serious requirement. All this considered, we would like to snatch you and make you our own. If you believe yourself ready to be snatched, please deliver yourself to our offices in Grief Street. A permanent position at the key details will pay much better than freelance work, and your salary will increase the longer you work with us. We will be unable to accept freelance pieces from you until we have received an answer. Yours, impatiently, Ambiguity Vilecroft, Chief Editor. Yo, that name is excellent. I like that very much. I absolutely want to accept the position. The Key Details' office is above a butcher's and below an establishment which winkingly advertises itself as a massage parlor. You have to step over a stream of red runoff to enter the building, and the butcher directs you upstairs with a whisk of his cleaver. The office itself bustles with chatter and activity. Dozens of young men and women, and a few mycenae, either dashing about with clipboards and stacks of paper, or sitting sweating at a typewriter. Everyone seems much too busy to offer you a single iota of attention. You eventually find a door labeled Chief Editor. Ambiguity Vilecroft is sitting inside. Pale, angular, impeccably suited. Hair so black and slick and shining, it looks like shoe polish applied to a bald head. He, or perhaps she, offers you a smile, which is almost instantly withdrawn. Now, when it comes to reporting on the City of Keys and all its vagaries, we are second to none. Our coverage of foreign affairs is spotty, however, and you're an important step in addressing that. So, we want news from anywhere that's far away. The further the better, the more we'll pay. But we'll also give you assignments, places where we've heard that something's happening, and we want feet on the floor. Bringing back news from there nets you a nice little bonus. Ambiguity looks at you very seriously over his spectacles. We can't offer you as much as other newspapers could. I want to be clear about that. That's because our primary concern is quality, not profit. You want to make a mint, go to the Hollow Trumpet. But if you want to write sharp, incisive, honest-to-goodness journalism that really pisses people off, stay with us and we'll see you right. Ambiguity gives you a contract and a pen. Black paper, white ink. Yeah, you know what? I'm into it. There's no small print. It's simple and to the point. I'm signing up. Welcome to the Key Details. You're one of us now. Here's your first job. I hope you didn't expect us to go easy on you. Lord Aranak has made significant donations to the Key Details in the past, but we can't let that cloud our priorities. I want you to see what's happening in Gossamer Smile, which is a place that we've never been before, right? You made a very significant choice today. Well, oh, good. It felt significant. And then we had other stuff to do at our dwellings. A letter from a professor at Pauper's College, which, okay, apparently we do have 3 reputation here. Dearest SB, everybody thinks I'm so dear. Over the last week, I have heard many tales of your exploits exploring the house. I hope you don't mind me contacting you out of the blue, but I have an offer for you. On your travels, you are sure to come across many strange and valuable artifacts. You could merely sell them off to the highest bidder, of course, but you must recognize the profound blow that would inflict to academia. We have a unique opportunity. We could make your findings into a collection and found a museum of our own. If we could keep this venture secret from Pauper's College, at least until the grand opening, I would be grateful. They refuse to open their own collection of artifacts to the public, so I am taking matters into my own hands. Perhaps foolishly, I have already leased a building on Broad Street. If you are on board with this venture, come and see me there so we may discuss our plans. Oh, and for a name, I was thinking the SB Memorial Museum of Unnatural Curiosity. Not that you're dead yet, of course, but one day you will be, and then the name will make sense. With the kindest regards, Professor Ambrose Monsoon. Maybe you could design the sign such that, like, this is the top line and then this is the bottom line, and we just keep a cloth covering this part until I die. Because I feel like if we found a museum that is publicly called the SB Memorial Museum, I'm sort of inviting consequence, right? Perhaps I will pay Ambrose a visit. Yes, perhaps I will. I believe it's time to write a poem. I love writing poems. I pretty much only have moments of melancholy, so a regretful, woebegone lament, a poem of crippled birds and dead trees. The poem is 69 lines long, split into 7 stanzas. Here's an extract of Raptures and Inevitability. O lonely power of fate, so Empyrean, so slow, the lonely sire and the killer who will grow. Inevitability be not cheap, though some call thee unique, the sire of destiny and Empyrean technique. 10 apprehensions, hey, not bad. After days of fevered intensity, the poetic fervor has left you. Oh wait, has it though? I'm gonna write a grand epic just to prove the game wrong, and then some satires and stuff. I think this is all that these are for? Right? Horrifying ordeals, moments of... I don't think we've had any opportunity to trade these in for anything else. Let's write a mischievous satire after our epic. Sprawling and mythopoeic, a poem of sundered stone and thunder. 684 lines long, split into 33 cantos. The Gardener of Fear. The first line is just the letter O, and then you pause for 12 seconds. It's very important that that be exactly 12 seconds. Then, always watch as the grower sings chill, stately, staunch, noble and bizarre, in ancient time before coronets did char. Was this line supposed to end with a thing that rhymes with chill? Alright, we got one more poem to pump out. Actually, we have 2. We're going to be able to write 2 satires. Parodic and self-parodic and endlessly, knowingly clever. A poem that bites and pokes. The Contemplating of the Book. 594 lines long. Is basically just a parody of the poem we just wrote. I am called to this ditty by deception and charade. In oldest time, before voyagers did raid, it's important to pronounce the words correctly. For, born a grimoire, the custard will ever knit. I am called to this ditty by politics and pits. The word ditty appears in this poem rather more often than it does in my everyday speech. One more time. We are definitely going to have enough apprehensions for our next stream. Yo! 1,378 lines. At some point, it's got to stop being funny, right? Before the City of Keys. I am called to this piece, no more ditties for me, by darkness and mystique, the yelling mentor and the cousin who will squeak, with monkeys as dull as your unfathomable star, as dull as your mentor, and as your cousin far. Yeah, take that, your distant cousin. Also, we could... no, we cannot work on our magnum opus. I don't have a unique experience yet. I have had some portentous dreams, though. Let's entertain a guest. Let's invite Pen Pusher. I think we've been getting along with Pen Pusher pretty well so far. His first knock splinters the door. Sorry, he shouts frantically through the window. When you let him in, he's bouncing in place like a puppy. Puppies don't do anything in place. So wonderful to be here. Can I see your writing desk? We should work on some poetry together. Perhaps a sonnet to start, or a villanelle. Oh, can I see your library? If you have a library. What am I saying? Of course you have a library. He gestures wildly in excitement and knocks over a vase. Oh, sorry. You finally force him into a chair and offer him a drink, which is met by another stream of delight. Why, yes, of course he will have a drink, but what kind of drink? Should he drink some alcohol? But then he's worried that alcohol would make him talk too much, so perhaps he'd rather have tea. Not that he likes tea, but he assumes you're going to have tea, and he wants to have what you have. When you give him a tea, he drops it on the carpet. The rest of the evening alternates between incisive literary discussion and streams of awkward enthusiasm. He's kind of adorable. Am I allowed to do anything else in my dwelling? Can I see another... No, cannot see another guest. Good to know the place is still standing, though. And with that, I think we are... Oh, no, we should visit the museum. Right, I didn't actually tell Professor Monsoon that I accepted, but I totally accept. The building on Broad Street is not quite the large marble edifice you may have hoped, but nor is it some eccentric fellow's basement, as you feared. It's a grand old mansion, shutter-windowed and cobwebbed and expansive. How did a mere pauper's college professor afford this? A crippling debt or an aristocratic background? Or perhaps both? There you are! Professor Ambrose Monsoon himself bursts from the mansion's porch and hurries toward you, velvet coattails flapping behind him. He is a short, stocky man, buoyed with so much exuberance that he seems to occupy more space than he actually does. A taller, gaunter figure trails behind him. She is black-haired, black-gloved, black-lipped. The professor does not give us much choice but to shake his hand. His smile is so toothy it's hypnotic. Meet Professor Elga Pute, says Ambrose, gesturing at the pallid woman behind him. She has expressed interest in joining us in this venture, and frankly, we need all the help we can get. Say hello, Elga. Elga turns her heavy-lidded eyes to you. I have the privilege to be a professor of theoretical ghost torment, she says. The ghosts cannot stop whispering your name of late, SB. Charmed to meet you. Yeah. Ambrose coughs and runs his hand through his floppy blonde hair. So, shall I show you around? It's rather empty right now, of course, but that will soon change. So, what kind of exhibits exactly will you need from me? Oh, whatever you think is interesting, says Ambrose excitedly. Anything that has historical value, or is of unusual beauty. May I suggest that a little gruesomeness would not go amiss, says Elga coolly, examining her black lacquered fingernails. The general public adore the bizarre and macabre. Ambrose coughs. Well, I'm not sure we want to be that kind of museum, he says. And when do we open? Oh, as soon as we have enough exhibits to attract a crowd, says Ambrose. And, well, we have to pass a government inspection, too. The governor's men are always leery of anything that involves educating the public. Especially when it comes to other worlds or unsanctioned gods, says Elga. We must be careful to avoid those subjects, or the entire venture could be shut down. And then the debt collectors would come knocking. Ambrose gulps audibly. Let's have a look around. The mansion is vast and creaking and in places afflicted by damp, but with a lick of paint it could make an impressive museum indeed. Ambrose has already cleared out all the furniture and filled the place with blank plaques and empty plinths. Bring me anything of interest, anything at all, he says, pulling out a colorful handkerchief and rubbing furiously at a patch of mold. When we have enough exhibits and the place is up and running, you'll get the lion's share of the profits. Okay, and do be mindful of what you give us, says Elga before you leave. She smiles oddly. The stranger the exhibits, the stranger the museum. Okay, so we can donate historical curios, ancient grimoires. Okay, this is a lot of the stuff that we've been discovering. Well, we know that occultist paraphernalia doesn't sell for very much, but also we have to be careful about things that evoke gods of other worlds or other religious practices. Boy, I wonder how involved this system actually is here. You wander through the museum's dusty halls. Just blank plaques and empty plinths. The museum is 0% complete. Oh, what do you have for us this time? Asks Ambrose, hurrying toward you and fussing excitedly with his hair. Elga follows like a somber shadow. Well, will the museum pass its government inspection? I'm assuming we want to ask these questions once we've got some stuff plugged in here. A pile of old bones, a cryptoglyphic tablet, but the tablet's probably a pretty interesting thing, right? A single cryptoglyphic tablet is displayed behind glass. Its runes writhe under your gaze as if embarrassed. 2% complete. Okay, so give them 50 things. Unless different things give different amounts of completion. We have a lot of old bones, and she did say that macabre things might be useful. Yep, that did not give the same amount of progress. Let's give them a bunch of old bones. 2 collections of old bones, sitting in the display cases in heaps. The skulls seem to watch you. I'm going to give them another set of old bones. Alright, what are your opinions of the museum so far? Well, it's still mostly bare, says Ambrose. It will be difficult to judge its academic and educational value until there are more exhibits. And aesthetically, of course, it is much the same story. It just looks empty at the moment. Okay, so we gotta put in a lot more stuff before we start asking these questions. A historical curio might be worth putting... Wow, that's a lot of completion, actually. A gorgeous antique, protected by glass. You know what? We have more. I'm gonna put in another one. And then... one of these bizarre effigies that we discovered? There's just one bizarre effigy looming in the atrium, its terrible stone face greeting visitors. And then, I'm going to put in my other historical curio. Seems like they give a lot of progress. Alright, what do people think now? From an academic perspective, many of the exhibits are intriguing, says Ambrose. This will cause quite a splash at the Paupers College. Unfortunately, the exhibits themselves are mostly hideous, he says with distaste. With great disappointment, Elga declares the museum conventional. The exhibits are mostly hideous, so we need something beautiful. Which we don't really have any of. How about a codex? Pages rustling very occasionally, though there is no breeze. Yeah, we'll come back with some stuff that's, like, pretty. I'll have to find some stuff that's pretty. And then, we might be done here for now. I guess we could probably afford to do an advertisement. We do still have some weak crew, right? Current crew. And we need a navigator. We just have an empty slot. So, like, Panorama and Rutherford could be replaced. I don't want to replace Tybalt because we're making a lot of progress on his story. I guess that's true of Rutherford as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spend on a new crew. Alright. I don't want to replace Spire. Also, Finnegan Skip is terrible. So, Gunner. Yeah, that's a bummer. We spent a lot of money there to get basically no benefit. Alright, I think that's probably good for us for this visit. Let's get out of here. Oh wait, was there anything I wanted to buy? Intercellular Essentials. I'm not so worried about the improved driver. What I'd really love is more armor. Low damage, medium accuracy. We probably don't want to buy another one of those. Legs that go faster. I can definitely see the value. The skin candle market, we don't have anything. Oh, we should. Oh, we don't need to buy sacks of salt. These are here where we need them. We can just buy the sacks of salt right before we're about to do the ritual. We could sell our gallows candle, like our occultist paraphernalia is just not worth anything. Alright, we'll hold off on other stuff. I mean, that fungus weapon was 1880, right? Maybe we just want to buy that instead of worrying about this mortar. Maybe we want to go for a sanity-based strategy. I'm going to get the mortar now, and we'll worry about that later. So yeah, I think for right now... Oh, sorry. Let's not just leave. Let's buy some fuel, and then leave. And fuel is much cheaper here than it is in other places, so I'm going to stock up a little bit more. Okay. So we want to go up to the City of Angels. No sense in stopping by Kennedy Yard. Let's just... Was the mortar I was going to buy... That was at the City of Knives, wasn't it? So I guess let's go to the City of Knives, then to the City of Angels, then we'll ambush the Governor's men. So, I don't know. North and East are both fine here. I'm hopeful that the mortar will be powerful enough. Oh yeah, we definitely have enough apprehensions for a dream, right? You dream yourself back in the orchard, but something is different. Before you, a gathering of 8 figures, each holding an iron-barbed spear. Some move with terrible purpose. Others hang back, reluctant. Persephone herself is backed up against the tree, raising her hands in useless supplication. One of the figures drives her spear deep into Persephone's chest, twisting and grinding until it finally jolts between her ribs. A soft thud as it passes through her entirely and settles into the bark. The fruits flash so brightly your eyes boil inside the sockets. Well, that's unpleasant. But the pain is only fleeting. Blinking, you find yourself standing once more before Persephone where she hangs. The smile on her lips is bitter. You dream of things you should not, wanderer, she chastises. Our time was snatched away from us before. This time I shall be brief. Your first step in finding me is to discover which door hides the orchard. Okay, so what must I do? There are precious few left who know which door hides the orchard, she says. Your most likely bet is Zeraphael, who lurks in a broken tower in the City of Angels. But he will be reluctant to tell you anything after what happened last time. She shifts uncomfortably. You hear metal grinding against bone. Could you, perhaps, reach up and adjust this spear? The point is lodged against my spine. Even the smallest movement is agony. Why is the fact that this is only a dream a justification for not giving into this request? Of course we attempt to shift the spear. Every time you reach for the spear, it seems to be just out of reach, in the maddening manner of dreams. Never mind, sighs Persephone. Just find Zaraphael. Somehow persuade him to tell you which door leads to the orchard. The golden orange glow sweeps through like a tide, carrying you back home. Your awakening is almost gentle this time. And another portentous dream. And now I guess we can just spend our apprehensions on our crew? Seems like we won't need them for the next step of this. I don't know that there's a lot of value in going to meet the tyrannic. Enter the cottage, we found some occultist paraphernalia, and hey look, we're back here, the Forest of Fingers. Where does that mean I actually am? It means I'm adjacent to Kennedy Yard. I want to go northeast. Okay, I just want to alternate. So it's interesting that we had not heard of Zaraphael at all before today, and all of a sudden he's on everybody's lips. Also interesting that his name does not seem to have consistent spelling. This might be one of those things where he just is known by a number of names, or I might be inventing a reason to let the author off the hook here for another typo that we have noticed. Wait, I'm not 100% clear what just happened, but I guess we're okay. Seems like I entered the edge of another screen for a moment there. Okay, this is the one, right? Alright, let's gather news. Always worth gathering news. Let's wander the streets a bit. A Golem Guard patrol boat has sprung a leak, and due to some glitch or oversight in its calculus brain, the Golem officer on board is ignoring its own peril and running desperately around its own descending patrol boat in search of citizens to rescue. The Golem is attracting a little attention, mostly of the laughing and pointing variety. The boat sinks inevitably beneath the green water, the doomed Golem officer loudly announcing safety protocols and throwing its life ring at a civilian on the nearest shore. Its mechanical voice becomes a burble as its mouth slips below the surface, and then it is gone. It is kind of sad, but I write for a humor paper, and this is an opportunity to sharpen those instincts. Also, do we want to even bother advertising here? Nope, it's too damned expensive. So, Slabber's weaponry, we're going to buy this mortar. I want to buy the warding iron too, because we know we're going to need one, but we know where we can get it. I'm not going to stress too much about it. I think we're missing other elements of that anyway, right? It's 3 sacks of salt, which we buy there. Shoot, where is it? Here we go. A warding iron and an occult relic. We don't have an occult relic. So, yeah, it's not like this is the holdup. Okay, I think with that, we're just gonna go ahead and go. Let's make sure we have our mortar equipped here. Medium damage, high accuracy. I love high accuracy. Also, medium damage, it's just way better than all of our existing guns in every way, which is pretty great. Alright, west we go. Turns out we have a lot of business in the City of Angels all of a sudden. Also, I do not remember... Okay, we should really go south once. Just so that the path is easy to draw. And it's possible that it's worthwhile to stop and fight at this point now that we have a third weapon and it's a lot better than our first two, but... Why not just save our health, right? Why not just save our health for the deal with the Governor's men? So I think my perception that it's hard to profit in this game was maybe based mostly on us not actually having gotten very far away from the City of Keys before. Now that I understand how valuable a big round trip is, it looks like actually it won't be too bad. Yeah, search for an intact book. Always. Hey, look at that. Mary Glover has discovered us a thing that I don't even want to read. This terrible, meandering treatise. Let's, real quick here, just intersect this guy's path. Okay. They don't have anything for us. It's possible that, combat like that is worth doing. With people who don't seem to have a way of fighting back, but it's hard to justify something like that inside my own head. Alright, I'm rapidly becoming unhinged. So, probably best we get to the city in a real hurry here. I am awfully curious what the downside, or what you get when you fail the Spirit Challenge at the City of Angels, and we might find out real soon here. Just terrible. Just a horrible thing. How are you going to try to make me dislike bats? Bats are lovely creatures. He was working hard to instill a deep and abiding hatred. Perhaps the most terrifying and hideous thing about it. Okay, well, I guess let's speak to this mad angel. His broken tower looms in the heart of the city like a spear. For a mile around Zeraphael's tower, the buildings are shattered and empty. Stray dogs fight in desolate streets. As you walk toward the broken tower, you are greeted by hazard yellow warning signs. Blasphemers' quarter, the signs proclaim. Go no further. Danger of death. Danger of angels. I feel like I'm the kind of person who would do a little bit of research before we just run in there. You return to the kinetopede and thumb through your books. The Blasphemers' quarter was cleared of life by the angels to prevent Zeraphael from maddening the population with his hideous dreams. After several humans successfully crept into the quarter and spoke with him, the angels went one step further. They recruited the Archbishop of Anglecrab to call upon his anti-geometric god and warp the quarter's dimensions. Now even the most cunning intruder would find reaching the tower itself impossible, trapped instead in an infinitely folded labyrinth. Well then, isn't that a coincidence? Let's go visit the Archbishop of Anglecrab. Anglecrab cares little for our human affairs. This was a fickle god for the angels to rely upon, and it's possible that he likes me better than he likes them. Anglecrab's church is a chaos of flickering interconnected triangles. Occasionally it spasms into a coherent shape, giving you just a few seconds to jump through the door. Once inside, its dimensions are mercifully more sensible, though when you look at the ceiling high above, you see priests walking nonchalantly across it. The Archbishop himself is stretched diagonally across his office. His limbs dangle like noodles, but the rest of his body is a thin, rigid line. His face is squashed less than an inch across the tip of the lance. "Greetings," says the Archbishop kindly. "And what do you want?" "Well, I want to cross Blasphemer's quarter and speak to the angel." The Archbishop regards you for a long, thoughtful moment. Few would dare ask a priest to turn against an angel. But then the general public misunderstand angels. They think them servants and messengers of the gods. He spasms violently and settles into a more human form. Which is, of course, wrong. Angels are fleas, leeching divine power from the gods. They are tolerated only because some deities find them useful. A smile crosses the Archbishop's face and the wall behind him. Anglecrab, in its infinite contemplation, spares them no thought. I helped them build their Blasphemer's quarter only because it was politically expedient. Perhaps I can be persuaded otherwise. He attempts to wink, but his eye vanishes entirely. Okay, and what's the price? I wish to build a monument in Anglecrab's honor, but for that I need materials. Words of madness, a catalyst of undoing, a shape pleasing to the intricate mind of my god. His one remaining eye inverts and stretches through the back of his head. Bring me these things, and I will open you a path through the Blasphemer's quarter. So an oscillating prism, a hideous revelation, and a bottled darkness. Okay, we have a... Boy, maybe I can just make it through. You know, Anglecrab likes us. I was kind of hoping the fact that Anglecrab likes us would come into play in this encounter, but... No, I can make it through the quarter without your help. Whatever you say, you know where to find me. I'm gonna come back to this affair at a later date. I just realized how long this episode has run. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop right now for the moment. That is gonna be it for us for today, because sadly it must be. But when you come back next time, tomorrow, we have an awful lot of very important business to be done, and hopefully we can be accurate enough with this new mortar of ours to shoot it directly through the heartlight of a gigantopede. That'll be fun. And we'll see you then.